All right, hello to any replayers. And if you're a replayer, don't forget that you can participate by tapping on the screen for hearts if anything I say resonates. You can, of course, follow me if you're not following me, if you want to catch more broadcasts. Hi, Christy. And you can also follow me on Twitter. Hi, yes, I'm cheap and told him. And I am on Twitter at joannazarach, and I'm also on Snapchat at joannazarach to really to answer your questions. So if you don't have a chance to answer your question or have a comment in the broadcast, if you're a replayer, please find me on Snapchat, please find me on Twitter, and let's have a conversation there as well. So here is the topic today, of the day, which I'm actually like, I think I'm having my mind blown right now as I'm doing this calculation. And so one of the quintessential dilemmas that I run into when coaching people in their financial decisions is when cash flow is limited, do you pay off debt first or do you invest? And I've decided, well, okay, let me be more fact-based to incorporate the things that I think really matter when it comes to that decision. And there are, three components to the decision. When cash is limited, you're going to have to assign that cash to either pay off debt or make an investment if you're in debt. And the three variables are really the interest rates. So the interest rate on your debt, the expected rate of return on your investment, and I think the thing that I see everyone miss, and I think I didn't realize how significant this is till I did this calculation, and I may be completely off. I'm going to be checking my math because I'm like, I've been talking about it and I've been harping on it, but I'm like, really? It's the tax rate. And if you're new to me, the top 5 things that dictate your ability to build net worth. And yes, I understand that tax-deferred investment are ultimately going to have tax due on it when you take them out when you're old. But to grow this money in a tax-protected manner over time and to build a nest egg from the beginning, the decision to do that, it's so critical. And I think that people miss the taxation piece of it. The tax deduction is very, very powerful when you're cash flow challenged. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. So the 5 things that really matter in wealth building is your income level. You have to solve for the income. You have to have more income than you have expenditures for your lifestyle, and you have to create an income that's actually going to allow you to save 30%. That's the goal. I know people are like 2, 3%, maybe 10. No, 30%. That should be your aim. If you can't do it, you've got to figure out how to get more income. Okay, the next is taxation. And I'm like, really, I did the math the first time and I simplified it. I was like, what is it I'm really trying to show? It's the trade-off. It's what would happen to your money, your net worth, change in your net worth if you're paying debt versus investing. So taxation. Number 3 is the investing and understanding investments and how compounding works. Number 4 is making decisions about your big purchases. And number 5 is mitigating risk. Okay. So here's the thing. So the 3 variables that matter is the interest rate you're paying on your loans, and you always pay off the highest interest rate stuff first. I know that some people are emotional about money. I'm extremely rational. It is the rational decision. The rate of return on your investment is the next variable, and then your marginal tax rate. I keep harping on marginal tax rate. I think I'm like I'm a crazy person, but you need to know your marginal tax rate because that impacts what you're going to get back in taxes. Tax deductions are like the magical way of getting more money for yourself, and it's not magical. It's just not. I don't think we're doing enough to connect it with it. So here's I'm going to show you my tool. This tool. And some people, and it is overly simplified. It is illustrative, but it is correct. So the starting position, what you're really trying to do is I'm saying, okay, let's say you freed up $5,000 of your cash flow to make now a decision. You can either pay down the debt that you owe or you make an investment. And again, when you're cash flow challenged, I am recommending now that people do a traditional IRA. Why? Because your cash flow challenge, yes, if your cash is unlimited or if you have excess cash, then yes, a Roth IRA may be something you consider. But when you're this strapped that you're carrying interest, you're carrying interest payments, you really need to figure out how to free up any cash you can, and you can do that by taking a tax deduction today. Okay, so the way this calculator works is you basically put in your tax rate, your expected rate of return. Please don't put any more than 8%. There are really not a lot of investments that are risk appropriate that are more than 8%. Maybe you're like super clever. I'm not. So I just assume 8% for my investment, and then your marginal tax rate is what's really the driver of your savings. And I need to redo this number because I'm not 100% certain that I follow the marginal tax rate in here, because that's only once a year. So anyway, the 1 year scenario is a little bit cleaner, but that's where the deduction that you get from your marginal tax rate. Again, it's the $5,000 that you get to take off your taxes, and now you get your refund increases is real money in your pocket. So that's the goal of this calculator, is when I'm having conversations with people whether or not they should pay off debt or invest money into an investment. The tax rate, the marginal tax rate, is actually one of the most critical pieces of the variables in that math equation. And you know what? I've been saying it, but seeing it in math, like seeing it in a spreadsheet, I'm seriously like, I'm like, oh my God. You're like, I'm having a revelation, and I'm a math nerd, right? And it just, talking to you guys, whether it's one person, whether it's 20 people, talking on Periscope and trying to explain these concepts to people, these things that I've taken for granted and I've implemented in my own life for years now, somehow never really doing the math, but just going, tax deductions is important. Let's maximize everything tax deductible. This is it. This is why. This is why I'm where I'm at financially. Like, this is why. I mean, I'm like, my mind is just blowing up. So thanks for sharing, friends. Thanks for letting me share this with you, because I've been racking my brain around this and going, okay, I need a simple way, a simple calculator of explaining to people the actual financial impact on their situation, right? Their interest rate, their marginal tax rate, their expected rate of return, or even like risk profile. I need people to connect to their situation and say, look, in your situation, when you have this extra money and you pay it down towards interest, here's what you're going to save, but here's what you're going to get in return if you do investment through a tax deferred account. Like, that is, like, that's for me. Like I said, I've been saying this. It's it is on one of them. I will share it. I will tweet out the link for this particular one. It's in investable assets. I've been doing investable assets spreadsheets where I did the fees one. I added the tab on investing stages, where I did the math. I've been like piecemealing this thing, and now I put this investor pay debt tab. So again, it was more illustrative, but I think I need to make it in a tool. But I mean, I understand intrinsically the mathematics behind it, but having put it on a spreadsheet has just blown my mind. So it's just like, I'm just so happy. Like, this makes me happy to make this math practical, versus like pay debt at 6%, you avoid $300 worth of interest. But if you just invest that $5,000 into an IRA, right? Like that's again, I recommend it, but I never did the math. I didn't say like what specifically money that you save, but this marginal tax rate, like I've been forcing myself to do more of the calculation to help people figure out their marginal tax rate, is really it's really the clincher. And I just else talking about the marginal tax rate and the tax deduction and the impact it has on the money in your pocket, because a lot of people advise from a perspective of high income earners. Like so financial advisor industry caters to high income people. And it's and it doesn't take cash flow limitations into consideration. And that, I think, is hurting the advice. It's limiting the advice that people are giving out. It's limiting the advice when you're not taking into consideration, like a regular person that has limited cash flow, you are giving advice that's not applicable to their situation, and it's not reflecting in their financial reality. And I think that's where we're getting to it. It's not malicious, it's just misinformed, because you're going, well, of course, I advise people who have, $200,000 to $500,000 worth of income. Well, duh, they're not cash flow limited. They're not even probably getting a tax deduction, not on their IRA, probably on their 401k or 403b or 457 plan, right? The tax deferred, again, it's tax deferred. Be real clear on this, that you understand the long-term implications. When you go to take it out, it will get taxed. But you're going to be old. And at that point, you're not going to, the whole point is to start accumulating early, right? And that is what I'm trying to get at, is for people to get in and take advantage every year of the marginal tax rate deduction when they're cash flow limited. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I'm just I'm so relieved in a way to see this, to see these in numbers, and to force myself to, again, walk the walk. When I give advice, I want to translate into a spreadsheet because I want to show you exactly what I mean. And when you're making that decision, I want to empower people to make decisions that are well informed when it comes to their money. And there is a great deal, there's a great void of information when it comes to just this financial math. And I call it money math. It's math just with money. And so, Joanna, I'm somebody's wife. And so that's that's kind of the message here. And that's, okay. And so, so that's really the message, and that's really the conclusion that I'm reaching through this. But it's walk the walk. It's really looking at the invest or pay debt question, right? That we're facing. Every single person that I'm counseling has some debt, which I didn't realize how huge the impact is, and they're cash flow limited. And so to convince people to instead take that extra cash, right? They're like holding on to your life with this cash, and to show them that, look, if you invested in a tax deductible account, it will actually impact you positively at tax refund, right? It's not a roulette where you're like, this so much tax refund, woohoo, I won the lottery, right? It's not winning the lottery. It's a complex math equation, taxes, but it's a known equation, and you can affect it, and then you can have more money in your pocket. So I feel like I'm armed with a bigger arsenal and bigger toolkit to quickly demonstrate to someone, instead of just saying, trust me. I don't want people to trust me. I don't want them to just trust me. I want them to have conviction in themselves, because when you have conviction and someone asks you, you will tell them the right answer. And that is what I'm really trying to accomplish. I'm not just trying to influence people. I'm trying to give them the power to go, let me show you this calculator. Let me show you how it works. Hey, I pull up a spreadsheet. It's already built. I add 5 numbers to it. I change your numbers to make it real for you, and you understand the impact. And then if you take the leap of faith, which shouldn't really be a leap of faith, and it shouldn't really be a leap of faith at this point. It should be a rational, a rational decision. But then, then they take the action, and then they see the implication, because it's important to point people back to, see, your tax return did really make a difference when you have this whole deduction. And I think then when people do their taxes and they start messing with the numbers, they're like, what if I took the deduction, right? And even fake it on your tax return, then take it out and go, oh my God, if I had an IRA, right? If I did open an IRA, and by the way, not too late, April 15th, it's not not too late to open an IRA. If I did open an IRA and took the deduction, I would actually bring up like, yes, you have to have the money available, but then your tax refund's going to go up by, $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever it is, in terms of what you can contribute. And again, for a lot of people that are higher income, traditional IRA is no longer available as a deduction. And that's why you have to sign up for your 401k if one is available for you through your job. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Christy. Appreciate the support. Appreciate anybody who's tuning in as a replayer. You can follow me. Yeah, and no, I'm just like, I'm super excited. I'm glad I have someone to share my excitement with. Like, I'm so excited when I get a spreadsheet that reveals something. I shared my cash flow spreadsheet with someone yesterday, and for her business, and she thought it was the most amazing thing ever, because cash flow has been a real issue in their business, and she's been doing a lot of she's been doing a lot of cash flow like management in her head and on spreadsheets, and I was like, you need one big spreadsheet for cash flow. So I'm seeing some, like, every time I can use a spreadsheet to help someone understand the money math, makes me really, really happy. So thanks a lot, and I will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Bye.